Next presentation will be about learning from the past, and Kyle's going to tell us how to get rid of all that brome.
So, wildlife biologist, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, been at Madison for 20 years. So I'm kind of just going to talk about the Madison restoration process. I am now the complex biologist for Eastern South Dakota. Fish and Wildlife Service did a realignment plan and made me the biologist for both districts. Gave me the title of Grassland Reconstruction Ecologist and the exact same paycheck. And then within a year, put me back to wildlife biologist. So that's federal government progress for you. When I got to Madison, they're planting 4 species of warm season grass and 4 species of cool season grass in the spring with a Truax drill, mowing it twice, using 2,4-D, and voila, 12,000 acres of big blue stem cornfield. And I was going to talk a little bit about diversifying it, but I think Owen just did that. So I'm going to talk about the high diversity. In 2011, we went high diversity, 45 plus species, 50% forb, 50% grass, 60% cool season, 40% warm. We talked about seeds per square foot. I think that's awesome because that's the key to establishing a good seeding. You really got to know what you have for seeds per square foot. I like to push 65, 70, and I'm able to do this because we have quite a large harvesting operation. We have various mechanical equipment. We've actually just acquired a combine, so we literally have hauled seed and dump truck loads. So we're able to bump that up and still keep our cost per acre down around $200. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, a lot of people have concerns about doing high diversity and dealing with the weed issues. Your first year on a seeding, what do you typically get? Snow geese, no. You get your annual weeds, your pigweed, lamb's quarter, stuff like that. And then your second year, you usually get some sort of flush of thistles with a little bit of natives hopefully popping up. And by the third year, you're looking pretty good. Well, we did a reconstruction in Deuel County on the Island WPA. This is the first year of the Island WPA seeding. I had Dean Hunt, if you're from Clear Lake, I'm sure you know Dean Hunt, farmed this thing for 3 years. And in January of 2015, we did a dormant season broadcasting seeding on it. This is what it looked like the following spring. There are several people in this room that saw this unit. I have never seen a WPA with that much thistle on it in my entire life. It looked as if I planted thistle. On top of this, Dean had a pasture tour and brought I don't know how many landowners and producers right by it on a wagon. You know, it was absolutely spectacular. Dean did call me up and he's like, Kyle, we got a problem, it's bad. And I'm like, Dean, I know it's bad, but there's a process and you have to trust it. We're gonna get the weed flush, but the native flowers were out-competed. He's like, you don't understand. Dad's gone crazy. He's already in the tractor and mowed on your side of the fence along our fence. He's went out and hit a couple patches. And I'm like, Dean, you got to be patient. He's like, Kyle, I can't even go to the damn bar and not hear about thistle. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Hung up the phone with Dean, and I'm like, oh, my God, we're in trouble. And Pete Bauman calls me. Hey, Kyle, what do you think you're going to do on this unit? Pete, not worried about it. Perfectly fine. It'll get there. Hung up the phone with Pete, and I'm like, oh, they're going to call this the Kelsey crater seeding. My boss pulls me in her office. Weed board's calling. Kyle, what are we going to do with this? We'll do a little bit of mowing, but we're not going to do much with it. We just got to trust the process. This is year 2, and Pete's got a little video. Yes, I'm crazy enough to try to incorporate a video into the seeding. Okay, we are in the Island WPA, Deuel County, South Dakota. This is a 2-year-old high diversity seeding. Last year, the stand was probably about 80% Canada thistle. We were forced to come up and do a little mowing along the roads. But as you can see, we have beard tongue, yarrow, several sunflowers coming in, several coneflowers. Yes, there's still a few Canada thistle, a musk, maybe a little wormwood here and there, but this thing has improved drastically. You have to have patience with these young seedings. Did you notice the relief in my voice on that video? I have done dozens of these, and I have never been pressured like I was on this one. But what I think is really cool about it is a lot of people got to see it. This is the next year. Okay, so imagine that unit went from solid Canada thistle to a really, really diverse prairie. I got 2 phone calls after that on this unit. One came from Pete Bauman, and he told me, Kyle, can't believe you did it. That's amazing. And I told Pete, never had a doubt in a minute. So that was pretty good. And then the next call I got was probably what I would consider probably the most justifying call of my entire career. Dean Hunt called me, and he said, Kyle, Dad and I stopped on the hill along the road, and we're looking out there at that unit. And Dad said to me, where did the Canada thistle go? And I said, Dean, those flowers outcompeted it. And I said, I told you that. And he goes, yeah, but we thought you were freaking crazy. And I'm like, now what do you think? He goes, I'm going to the bar tonight. So 2 things here. We really do not try to mess with them. We don't mow them, we don't spray them, and it works. But you have to really work with your weed boards, and I really work with the producers, because if you go back to this slide, that's what Dean Hunt and his dad did on that WPA, okay? They took a brome-infested POS, and they cleaned it up, and in their eyes, in a producer's eyes, that's beautiful. And then I turned it into that. And they can take that as a real slap in the face. So I really try hard to work with them, walk them through it, what's going to happen. But I tell you what, when you get them to that, the light bulb goes off. And I've had that situation with producers so many times that I'm confident enough to do it. But I tell you what, I'll be honest with you, this one shook me. I was close to caving in, but it can be done, but weed issues can really cause a lot of strain on the process. So